All right, round one. We're on the draw. Got a mulligan this one. It's only a one lander. One lander again. I guess we're going to 5. And one lander again. I guess I keep. It's not a very good hand, but I guess we just hope to draw land. And this hand gets okay if we draw a couple lands. I mean, at least we're like fixed for both colors. And we have a good sideboard card against this deck already, I can tell. We have the Rending Volley, so that's kind of cool. But I guess the downside, all right, so the downside of playing against blue-white is our Magmatic Chasm main deck. I think that's ultimately going to cost us a little bit. Blue-white is typically a Flyers deck, which makes Chasm worse. But like I said, it's going to be an easy swap for Rending Volley, so should not be a big concern. I mean, I am assuming right now that it's a Flyers deck, and I'm sure he's got some ground guys in there. No plays there is interesting. I probably play Wild Call for 2 if I don't draw a land. I did draw a land. Well, instead I play in a Tarka Efreet. No Sandblast. Guess that's a good sign. Likely just going to end up bathing whatever he plays. Well, works perfect. I doubt he exploits, which means we're just going to bathe it, get in for 4, and make him do some more stuff. Could have also played Artillerist and passed, which admittedly wouldn't have been too bad. It would have set me up for a better bathe, but I'm okay with this too. Ooh, well, now I'm feeling real good. We're going to make him play like a combat trick. Beautiful. So we could have Sandblast now, but the Tarka Efreet already did its job, so I'm feeling fine. He does have a Sandblast, but like I said, I still feel fine. He basically traded a Sandblast and a Dromoka Warrior for an Atarka Efreet. That's a pretty awesome trade. Not quite at Sarkhan's Rage yet, but I have a feeling I'm going to be needing it this game. Like a Cunning Breeze Dancer or something. Ojutai's Summons. Alright, well, Summons is pretty good. It certainly staves off my attack for now. So I could play Wild Call as a 4/4. I guess I like that more than my 4/1s. Let's do that. I mean, granted, this Wild Call could get bounced, but whatever. Opponent's only got 1 card left. And hilariously enough, a Frontier Mastodon is an actual upgrade if I flip it. Okay. Pacifism's not the worst against us because we still get our formidable bonuses, which is kind of nice. and a morph. All right, so it could be quite a few things. All right, that was actually a good draw since we're at rage mana. But I think we probably just want to get... We're also at Beastbreaker mana, which is pretty important. Interesting. I think that we... Well, Gorswine versus Artillerist. I guess we play the Artillerist. It's slightly better if I find some way to put a counter on it. I guess I have the Salt Road guy or whatever. So opponent at least is in top deck mode. All right. Guess we'll take it. Another summons. All right. So, what is the plan now? So, certainly got some options. I think we just swing with both. Well, yeah, it's pretty problematic. I mean, I can also Sarkhan's Rage the Monk, go to 11, swing for 6, bring him to 6. But then I'm in a bit more of a tricky spot. I can also just swing with Beastbreaker, but I think it's to his advantage just block and make me pump, which I don't really want to do. It eats up my whole turn and lets him crack back for a bunch more damage. I think my best move is swing with both and then play a Gorswine post-combat because I think he blocks Artillerist. So it lets me get in for 2, take out one of his flyers. It's not great. Basically, Ojutai summons off the top there was pretty nasty against us, actually. But I think I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, I can also, I guess, potentially get in for 6 damage here. I mean, could be I just want to get in for 6. Because then I can... So close to Sarkhan's Rage being lethal. Yeah, so if I pump, I deal 6, but I'm tapped out. He's going to end up with an untapped Monk and 6 damage coming my way. Otherwise, I can play a Gorswine, turn on my Formidable again. I'm trying to think what's going to work best for my deck. Like Heel Cutter, Sprinting Warbrute, Volcanic Rush. It's tricky. It is tricky. So do I want to deal 6 to him, or do I want to get a Gorswine out there? I think I want to get in for 6. My thinking is that getting in for 6 here potentially sets me up for a better victory or a better chance at victory, since I mean, I don't know for sure. It's honestly it's tough to say. But like I don't know. It's tough. It was a tough choice there. I don't know what to say. I was at I had a dilemma. Like I said, if I just attacked with Beastbreaker, I think it was in his best interest to block, because then it just eats up my turn and he cracks back for a bajillion damage. Now at least I guess I can, like, I don't know, Heel Cutter or something. I did get Heel Cutter. So I guess if I'd played Gore Swine, he would have 4 more life. So it'd be at 10, 4, 6, 9. Either way, I would have been 1 short. Any way you slice it. So I guess the play is he has 1 card in hand. So I can Heel Cut. Cracks back for 6 at least. I play Gore Swine to block Morph. Guess that's the play. Actually, okay. I actually just swing with Heel Cutter. Because then he's in... I can't cast Sarkhan's Rage, though. So if I swing for 5, I can take him to 1. I can't block his flyers regardless. I would be forced to block either Gore Swine or... Basically, not attacking with Beastbreaker plays around a removal spell on his turn. Like a Frost Breath type of thing. I think I just want to attack with Heel Cutter, though. I basically want him to be more cautious on his attack for the next turn. Alright, well, unfortunately he drew the thing that's going to win him the game. Which is unfortunate, but it looks like we weren't going to win this game anyway. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, well, I would say we did pretty good on a Mull to 5. We have that going for us. Guess I didn't have to show him the Gore Swine. Whatever. I just want to play it. Not bad on a Mull to 5. We actually almost won on a Mull to 5, which is pretty impressive. It looks like we're going to lose anyway because of the Morph. So we get to bring in Rending Volley. Magmatic Chasm could not get the boot faster out of our deck. Could not kick that card out any faster. So we'll do that. If I have like a disenchant effect for pacifism, that would be nice. I'm not sure that I do though. Return to the Earth comes in. And Rending Volley comes in. Chasm comes out. And maybe Formless Nurturing gets the boot. I've got enough creatures already. Anything else? No, I think that's probably it. So let's try this. Alright, we're in game 2. We've got the choice again. We'll play first. Well, I think we keep it. Here's the downside of keeping this one. If we draw lands for the rest of the game, we're just going to lose. But the upside of keeping this is we have a 1-mana instant speed removal spell, and we have a 3-drop. And I guess that's enough justification. So this hand could go disastrous if we just, rip a bunch of lands. I think we're likely to lose. You might be wondering why I played a forest instead of a mountain turn 1. It's because I don't think it very likely that I would kill a 1-drop that he played. And also, Wild Call is something I need to consider if I draw it. So I at least have a good turn progression. Okay. Well, we drew a spell, so I'm certainly not going to complain about that. I mean, granted, it's a little bit pricier than I would have liked, but I don't particularly want to bust a Rending Volley on that, but having Vigilance makes it so I probably have to block with the Frontier Mastodon. I guess that's enough justification for me. That was a good draw. Quartermaster is a good draw too. So, I'm a little more tempted to use, yeah, I think we actually just bust the Quartermasters here. What I was going to do is wait on the Efreet and unmorph it probably at some point during his turn, but I actually think playing Quartermasters is better here. The reason being, next turn I can attack with both, and I can just move a counter on my morph, so he can't even really block it comfortably. It's likely a Misthoof Kieran anyway. I think that's the only creature we saw, but I don't want to trade my unmorphed Efreet for a Misthoof Kieran, or what I presume to be a Misthoof Kieran. I think I'm just going to take it. Could block with my Salt Road Quartermasters, but it seems a bit too obvious that he would attack into it. Well, that's pretty good news for us. So interesting options here. I mean, we're of course going to flip the Tarka Efreet. I think we flip it now while he's tapped out, still just playing around combat tricks. Like Artful Maneuver would get us pretty good. So certainly interesting. All right, let's flip the morph. Kill the champ. Let's hang tight. On the other two. Next turn, I'm likely just slamming a Sign of Ugin. Okay. So I have the blocker for the Kieran, which is nice. So I guess I can also go Frontier Mastodon for full value, plus use Salt Road Quartermasters as a combat trick, which is also nice. Ooh, Volcanic Rush is pretty nasty here. I definitely went full value on that. I think we just have to set up a board state that's... He attacked pretty confidently into my board, so he was willing to flip to just trade with a Quartermaster, or does that mean one of his two cards is a combat trick? I'm not sure. The only thing I know is I basically want to build as big of a board state as possible. I guess the Scion is the best way to keep back his Misthoof Kieran. If he attacks the Kieran into the Scion, I'm a little bit less confident. This would have been an okay turn to Volcanic Rush. I could have gotten in for some pretty good trample, and he doesn't have Sandblast up. But I think I'm just going to wait. Okay, so if he attacks with Kieran, I presume he has Sandblast. So that means I'm going to take the damage this time around. And then I can leave my 6 mana up for the Quartermaster, which I think I like more. I would say if he's that anxious to Zephyr Scribe, he probably doesn't have... Or he could, no, that still means he could have the Sandblast, because then he can Sandblast plus untap plus use again. So if he confidently attacks with Kieran, I take it. Then on my turn, oof, Dagatar. That guy is pretty nasty, but at least my opponent's tapped out. So technically I can attack for 20 damage, which is pretty huge. Um, so I can swing and just Volcanic Rush. Otherwise, I can set up another turn, but if he, say, draws a sand... Well, if he had the Sandblast, I think he would have used it, but he's also looting, which I have to be conscious of. If I swing and he does no blocks... I mean, this definitely feels like the turn to swing, especially since I have the Quartermasters. He can strike back for 4, 6, 9, 12. He can't even technically smash back for lethal. I think we just go like this. So he snap blocks Warrior on Efreet, but even then I can move 2 counters over. So maybe he doesn't... It's definitely an awkward block any way you slice it, but depending on how he blocks, I guess, is how I'm going to use my mana, because I can also just move counters off of this guy. I'm okay with that block. And I'm okay with that block. Oh god, I was hoping for no blocks. That would have been incredible. Well, this is interesting. I hope he just blocks like that. That'd be incredible. So, wait a second. I think we're lethal. 10, 12, 19, or 18. Each of these gets... I mean, I think we just... Guess I'm not even motivated to do it now, am I? All right. Well, now there's... Yeah. I mean, I can deal 4 plus 8, 12... Yeah, I can deal 18 to him, which isn't lethal. So I think we save that. I think we just move a counter off onto our flyer, I guess, even though it's still sandblastable. Wait, how does this work? Remove a +1. Okay. So let's put it on our Scion anyway, I guess. Or I guess we can put it on the Efreet too. Whatever. Put it there. We deal a bunch of damage. Play the Mastodon. Then we pass. So this way we're pretty well geared with Volcanic Rush next turn to just win. He's digging. So even if he has Sandblast, it's certainly not the end. And he can move Mischief Kieran's counter onto Dagatar. It's something I have to keep in mind too. So I don't think we're going to be blocking this turn. If he has Sandblast for, say, my biggest guy, I still think he takes lethal, likely, unless he block. I mean, we're kind of trapped into the Volcanic Rush plan at this point. Not that it's like a bad trap to be in, but I mean, he's got 6 toughness on board. I think he's definitely was digging for Sandblast. Whether or not he's got it already remains to be seen. He was tapped out last turn, so it could be he's got the Sandblast. Like I said, though, if he has the Sandblast, I think we're still okay. We're still dealing a lot of damage, I believe. I definitely wanted him to tap out there, though. Ooh, Volcanic Vision. Unfortunately, well, 1 to each of his creatures does in fact kill Zephyr Scribe. All right, let's just swing for the fences here. See what his game plan is. I think he Sandblasts Scion of Ugin, then from there we'll see what he does. I think there's a good chance we can get through with lethal damage this turn, even if he has the Sandblast. Alright, so I think he likely does have the Sandblast. So his plan is to Sandblast Scion, which means if I play Volcanic Rush, let's just pretend he does have Sandblast. So if he does have Sandblast and I play Volcanic Rush, I get in for that trampling over for 4 plus this trampling over for 4 as well, so 8. It's actually short, but getting it back with Volcanic Vision next turn still seems correct, so guess we go for it. I mean, it definitely, oh, or he just F6s, so I did way more combat math than I needed to. And we win. Okay, so I've got 10.5 minutes to do a game 3. We didn't show him the Volcanic Vision. Return to the Earth still looks really good. Dagatar is actually something we can deal with really nicely with our deck since we've got Rending Volley and Double Bathe and Dragonfire. So I feel fairly well situated against our opponent's deck. I think actually Colossadon Yearling is good against him. He's got multiple 3/1s that we know about now. So on the draw, I probably want the Colossadon Yearling quite a bit. But what do I want it more than? Maybe I want it more than Artillerist. Actually, I think I want it more than Summit Prowler. Summit Prowler is good, but I'd rather pay less mana for less toughness because any of those trade with his cheap guys anyway. I guess this doesn't trade with Ojutai summons, though. Maybe Sabertooth Outrider, then. I'd rather have the guy that can attack into Ojutai summons, but can't block the... I think, all right, that makes sense in my mind. That certainly makes enough sense where I'm going to make the play like this. I'm going to cut the Sabertooth Outrider for the Yearling, because I feel like I have enough ways to get damage in, and Yearling defensively against his 3/1s seems really good. All right, well, it's a great opener. Certainly a great opener. So opponent keeps it 7 on the play. They debated with it a little while. I don't know if that means it was a questionable keep or anything, but could be. Once again, opening with the Forest just in case I draw the Wild Call, which I think I would actually play on turn 2. I feel like I would, just to initiate some good beatdownage. All right, I'm not going to bust Rending Volley on that. I'd rather trade a Frontier Mastodon or something for it. All right, well, this is tricky. Yeah, it's actually not tricky. I'm going to play the Highlands because I want to do Summit Prowler into Frontier Mastodon now. That makes more sense. He's on Dagatar mana this turn anyway, so having a Rending Volley up for that seems good. All right, Morph, which we know is likely a Mischief Kieran. All right, that's actually a fine draw. So let's bust out the Summit Prowler, which is a pretty good little roadblock at the moment. I think he still likely attacks with his Morph, and I guess to be honest, we don't really want to trade a Kieran for a Summit Prowler. I think the problem is it's got Vigilance, but that's all right. We'll solve these issues as they come. I mean, it being tapped is also kind of nice. If he doesn't tap out, I should probably assume he's got Sandblast. Okay. That's actually all right. So I think that we just go. That's actually pretty nice and aggressive. I think we go Heel Cutter plus Beast Breaker. I can also do the Mastodon, but then I can't do the Heel Cutter. And then next turn I can do Heel Cutter plus Mastodon. I like that more. So let's do, or I can do Scion, I guess, too. So let's see. If I'm doing Heel Cutter, we get him for 7. It's pretty good. Plus a Beast Breaker, which is also good. Otherwise, I can do Mastodon plus Beast Breaker, but I can also attack with Summit Prowler, let him bolster his Zephyr Scribe, and then I have, I guess, Rending Volley for it later. And I have Heel Cutter. Actually, I don't mind that. Yeah, I think I'm actually just swinging with Summit Prowler. Can actually potentially get good value here, too, with Rending Volley, although I probably just take the 2-for-1 and let him bolster, to be honest. Alright, so he did, in fact, just block to bolster, which is still perfectly fine. Now we're just going to go Mastodon plus Beast Breaker, and I'm still pretty satisfied. So we have Formidable, which means we can crack in for a lot of damage. We have Heel Cutter, which stops the blocks and lets us deal a lot of damage. Next turn we have Heel Cutter plus Rending Volley up, which is also really good. I think I'm still satisfied with that play because I got a flyer off the board. I did bolster a Zephyr Scribe, but I think I just trade a Beast Breaker for a Kieran here. That's a pretty generous trade on his part, I think, considering I've got the Heel Cutter. But then again, maybe I just take it. I don't see why not. I'm winning the race. I have Heel Cutter. I have Rending Volley. Should just take it. I mean, next turn I can actually Rending Volley plus Pump Beast Breaker, which is like 14 damage, which is pretty insane. Alright, now I just most likely... Yeah, I think we just Heel Cut. Get rid of Sky Captain blocks. Follow up with Quartermaster. He's at 7. Alright, so what are options? I can play the Quartermaster. If this is the Kieran, which I suspect it is, he gets in for 4, 7, 9, which means we could die to Artful Maneuver. So for that reason, I think I actually take out this Scribe here. Or I could just leave up the Rending Volley mana. But then if he has a combat... well, I think I just leave up Rending Volley. Because he doesn't have lethal based on this board, so... and we definitely have a pretty aggressive backswing. I guess the problem is he can Sandblast plus... well, that's alright. Let's see how he attacks. That's what I'm most curious about. Because I feel like this is the time where he's going to unmorph. Because then he has Vigilance. Alright, if he's going to dig too... guess if he's digging, he needs something pretty good here. Basically, the only reason I left up Zephyr or Rending Volley rather is because it plays around like potential outs he has. Like I said, the Artful Maneuver would have been a pretty nasty way to lose there. 4, 7, 9, 11. It would have been Exactsies with an Artful Maneuver. Granted, we've played 2 games and we haven't seen an Artful Maneuver. It certainly doesn't mean it's not in his deck. It is a common. I think it's a common, right? It must be. I don't think it's an uncommon. I'm going to be rending volleying something for sure. And I guess it's the Sky Captain. I don't know. Because like I could do the Zephyr Scribe, but it still forces him to untap it to even get a block. If he just leaves up Sandblast mana, I'm definitely rending volleying. Yeah, so we'll rending volley the Sky Captain, which seems awkward, but getting a guy off the board right now is pretty huge. Because, like, he's banking on that Sandblast pretty hard. This also plays around Artful Maneuver since he can't protect it. So on my turn, I'm just planning to heal cut, swing team, turn off Morph Blocker. He probably Sandblasts a big dude. I guess then he can block, though. Does he have Center Soul? Even if he has Center Soul, we're fine. Yeah, I think we still win, I believe. I'm not sure, I guess. But we get rid of 2 blockers. Okay, let me think about this. So I don't have Heal Cut plus Beast Breaker. I can also, if I Heal Cut the Sky Captain, he's got pretty ugly blocks. He probably goes Zephyr Scribe on Beast Breaker, I guess. Maybe I don't swing Beast Breaker. Maybe that's the play. We go Heel Cutter, swing Mastodon, Prowler. Yeah, that's definitely the play. All right. So we go Heel Cutter, and we still get to follow up with a Quartermaster too. It's pretty nice. Although if I swing with Beast Breaker, can he even block that? Yeah, he can. Okay. So we'll swing with these 3, right? Wait, if I swing with Beast Breaker 2, Zephyr Scribe blocks there. He can't block there. He blocks there. He blocks here. He takes 8. That would be lethal. He blocks here. He blocks the 2 biggest guys. He only takes 5, but he loses 2 dudes. Can I attack with the Beast Breaker? Either way, I'm turning off Sky Captain. He has to block with Morph on biggest guy, chump block. He blocks Zephyr Scribe to trade with maybe Heel Cutter. Maybe I can attack with Beast Breaker. He can't really afford to block there, can he? Blocks here. Blocks Heel Cutter. He dies. Chumps. Gets that. Takes 6. Goes to 1. I'm just going to attack like this. I don't know if this is safer or not. I feel like keeping the Beast Breaker around is better for next turn. I feel like I just don't have lethal if I swing at the Beast Breaker. And, I mean, this still definitely forces him to block. And we get to follow up with a Quartermaster, so we're in pretty good shape. And it wouldn't have been lethal, by the way. So now we have Quartermaster. We do have Beast Breaker Formidable, which is certainly worthy of noting. I mean, we're pretty lucky our opponent's been off his mana the whole game. Finally found his 5th, which I can only imagine is going to be Ojutai's Summons, but that's not enough to save him. Especially now with the Quartermaster's out, but if any of our guys connect, he's dead. All right, that was actually a pretty nasty little draw for him. Probably bounce the Mastodon since it permanently weakens it. It's an interesting choice. So even if I draw a land, I'm in pretty good shape. He certainly can't attack. Maybe I just play Sign of Ugin and pass. If I draw a land, though, I'm definitely... Yeah, alright. So I play Quartermasters, I swing with Beastbreaker. He gets to balls... Oh, and I swing with Mastodon, too. Yeah. So, yeah. Now we're formidable, and he doesn't have great blocks. He has to block both. So land draw there was like the best we could have asked for. He's just he has to double chump block. No bolster, very nice. Okay. I would say that probably is the ticket to victory, even if he has I don't think there are any board wipes anymore in white. That was cons only, but even if he were to wipe the board for some reason, I've got a nice Scion follow-up, so we're still in pretty awesome shape. So he's got Sandblast mana up, but even then, still not enough. All right, so we got the victory, which is very cool. So the deck played well for us. Our opponent's deck was quite good. So like I said, I think him hiccuping on lands for that long ultimately cost him. So yeah, beat the blue-white Flyers deck. That Rending Volley paid off just huge in both games, forcing a Center Soul out so he couldn't combat trick us with it. And game 2, I guess, just killing that Vigilant Sky. So very nice. We'll see you in round 2.